please start talking about what is it and are you prepared for it? CBAM.
Yes, thank you very much, Anna. And I've been really looking forward to this webinar today because general sustainability is close to our hearts. And just recently, well, there's a whole mushrooming of different regulations coming forward in this space. And one of them is this CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. And the bigger question is, you as an organization, so are you prepared for it, and are your data prepared for it? And to that question, then just let's quickly have a look at what the CBAM is. So CBAM is, as I said, this carbon border adjustment mechanism, and it's a set of instruments that the EU regulation could put together in order to increase the awareness of these regulatory demands, and then in this effort of having a more global shift towards a sustainable practices where business like yourselves needs to adhere to these carbon border adjustment mechanism. And this mechanism imposed a carbon price on imports of certain goods from outside EU, promoting a greener production methods within the EU. I said, I'm Jesper Lett, and I'm been diving into this sustainability area for more than a year now. And every day I learn something new, but it's also really interesting. So the overall purpose is, how can we address how master data will be able to help you and different parts of your organization in this efforts of reporting on these CBAM reports, CBAM requirements in a correct and timely manner. So CBAM is a part of the bigger efforts under the Paris 2015 agreement, and is tied together with a number of other initiatives. So it's a complete setup of different elements, and it's all inside this timely manner. So it's not just coming forward as one set of requirements, but it's coming into a phase. And in just a moment, I will show a timeline. But the overall assessment, as I said, it's a part of the bigger Green Deal as a huge setup that the European Union is putting together. And there's a number of other activities that are interlinked into this setup. And we all know that climate change is a global problem and it needs a global solution. And the EU is just raising our own, or the European climate ambitions. And it is a bit in a contrast to other countries that it does have less stringent climate policies, which could mean that we are in a way that we are importing products that may have a higher footprint from a carbon perspective, where they have been produced outside the European Union. And that is what is called carbon leakage, where the carbon offset is bigger. And when products are coming into European Union, well, we might not know exactly what the price is. It's all under this timeline that I just hinted to just a few seconds ago. And right now we are in this transitional phase, and it have already begun. So since 1st of October last year, companies like yourself are obligated on a quarterly basis to report to the European Union how many products do you import from countries outside European Union into the EU, and what is the carbon offset or footprint that will generate. It will later go into what is called the full rollout, or the operational period, where you can also expect that European Union will start to collect taxes based on the amount of products that you import, and with the carbon footprint it also is leaving behind. And there are a number of sectors that have been identified already, and more will come. And it is expected that by 1st of January 2030, that all product areas will be included in this setup. And right now it's something about fertilizers, it's about iron and steel, and a few others. And be mindful that it does require a lot of data, and most of it is actually master data. So there is a number of different requirements, and what we have done, we have tried to pull it together, and want to give our customers the opportunity to have an overview of where the different carbon leakage may come together. It could be in different product groups. It could be import from certain countries. It could be from different suppliers. So how to put all this together and take a high level approach and say that importing products from certain areas may be carbon heavy, or it could later also impose a tax on your company. And you can already now start to mitigate those different actions, start to work on your supply chain, work with your suppliers to find solutions to reduce the carbon footprint that may come with it. So we can tie these different information together. So, so the reporting structure can be issued out of a step solution. So if we bring it down to the very nitty-gritty details, it's an XML file. So what should go into this Excel file? We can take 95 or maybe even more of that information, organize it as master data, bring it together due to the flexibility and the strength of the step platform of how it is linking together. So in the previous slide, we saw how different products are coming in. And in this one, we're actually looking at the detailed part of the product, and we can see, well, how many products have been imported in the last reporting period. Where does it fit into a structure that the European Union have put together called a combined nomenclature, and that's the yellow structure to the left. And as those working with STEP, you can see, well, that is just a classification structure. So we're using some standard components inside the STEP solution. So we can pull this all together and say that from a reporting point of view, what are the amount of products that should go into my report? And from that reference structure with those products, we can also fit how many products have been imported based on an integration to an ERP system, and then starting to bring this together. And again, can be used to find out what is the overall footprint and again the potential tax that was a part of this period. And you can follow that trajectory and see, are we actually reducing the carbon that is being brought into EU, or the leakage apart that, reduce it? And what can we do with the potential taxes that come along, and go into innovative partnership with different suppliers, trying to find out better production methods that will bring it to a better solution. So the overall reporting structure, as said, there's for each supplier, we'll need to collect this information, work together with them. For each of these CN types, these different types of goods that was in this yellow classification structure, and then being the declarant or being the importer of this information, you are obligated to issue this report on a quarterly basis. And in the report, well, how many goods have been imported? What is the potential carbon tax or carbon price that already have been paid if you are importing it through others and have different sub-suppliers? And what is the direct and indirect emission of this? And again, the tax part, which is not in force yet, but is expected to come in 2026, and then issue that to the European Union. So in general, it's all about prioritizing product data, and obviously that is our take on this, because with that you can collect the supply chain data, you can organize the data in a way where you can connect it with the relevant CBAM data, so you can start to get this overview of how it is all coming together. Likely move away from handling this through different reports in Excel or similar tools, and thereby build a more robust structure for this data that you want to bring together. And thereby, with high level of trust in the data, then you're also boosting the efficiency of actually reporting this on a quarterly basis. And the key part is looking ahead. How can you gain different insights in your supply chain, how it is function where it is polluting, and what is the potential tax that will come later. So how can you identify these different areas of optimization, both for you as a business, but also for the world at large? So we would suggest that CBAM and going with STEP to figure it out will be a strategic initiative that will boost the operational efficiency so you can bring it forward. So we would like to work with you to prioritize the way you organize data so you can empower your compliance efforts with CBAM and lead the way into a sustainable industry practice. And together we can turn regulatory challenges into growth opportunities and innovation.